Yo.
Realistic or a little more natural, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Our pass through is black and white. I think that's one of the main differences between the two models. And in a black and white pass through setting, you miss a lot of the things. Like, for example, if you wanted to use your computer monitor in a pass through setting, that's very difficult because you're just getting a black and white monitor. You're able to use your computer in pass through mode when you look
Exactly.
at your real monitor, Christian. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think there's some other form factors differences. It's a little lighter maybe with the Oculus 3, at least a little more comfortable. It's supposed to be. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. No, that's exactly right.
Okay. Yeah, we've got the two. It works for our purposes. So the cool thing is everything is backward compatible, so you can see how we're collaborating no matter what model we have. I have a Oculus Go somewhere, which we probably could have thrown in here. I don't know if it would have worked. And then also the one version that would have been a neat experiment. But we're going to tell you that as it is, we went through quite a lot of experimenting to get this setup that we have. So we'll talk a little bit about that. For now, let me, and what we're using is interesting. We are using the work groups or sorry, workplace. So this is the Oculus Workplace Beta. Is that right, Nick? Beta? That's right. The workplace.com is part of the URL there. And the way we did that was, well, it's just an app inside the Oculus, but then you pair that with a service on their website, and you are able to add people to that, and you can copy the link and just have people come in from from a physical world into the room, right? To add to that, we are setting up, we have StreamYard, and this is what it looks like on my screen. I don't think you're seeing my screen anymore, but what I can do is pretty neat. I can actually come to the share screen, and I'm going to take a risk here and share my screen, and you see on the big board over there what we look like right now. Christian, I just realized that I'm blocking your view because of how we're sitting. So that's because this is how we're looking to everyone on our live stream. And that's
Yes.
because I think it's coming from that direction. Um, oh, we lost the feed there. Not sure what happened. So I'm gonna stop sharing because, like I said, I took a risk here, and the screen is back. Carlos, make sure, please, that we are able to, everybody's able to see us the way they were by sharing your view, right? Is that right, Carlos? We're good? Yeah? Okay. StreamYard is able to see us. So now we're going to go and draw our setup so that everyone can kind of understand what we got. But at the same time, you're starting to see sort of how you can use this to collaborate. Somebody put a sticky up there that says hello. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get up I'm going to hit this icon that I have here. I'm going to move, and I'm going to go to the board. And that board is next to me in my physical room. And I'm going to confirm. And when I do that, now I'm standing up. But that was one of the technical problems we have. We have a proportion problem here. I could probably fix it by resizing myself somehow, resetting the room for me. But we didn't want to take a risk and reset everything after the progress that we made. So, Nick, Christian, you guys want to move up here? I don't know if you're able to stand, Christian, depending on your physical setup. But Nick and I were able to come before and do this. So, Nick, you wanna meet me here? There you are. Hello, Nick. How are you, Nick? All right. So now this feels really weird because Nick is like all the way down there. Um, so let's draw real quick our setup. And to do that, I'm going to use the back of the remote, which we can use as a marker. And what we have is we have a table set up. Uh-oh. Nick, you're able to draw, right? I am not for some reason.
Oh, I'm able to over here. Is it because of me?
Yeah, I was before and now I'm not. Okay,
Oh.
now I am. No, I think it wasn't deep enough for it to pick up where the board was. I'm literally, this is kind of neat because I'm kind of writing on my glass door right here, right now, like physically touching it. Yeah. So let me see. So yeah, I literally have to touch my glass. Huh.
So I can draw from on the board from here and
Right.
write what I want and contribute from my desk,
Okay.
as you can see there.
Very cool. So that's a headset there. Nick, you got your headset there, right? Go ahead and draw a headset, and let's give people an idea on what kind of setup we got going on. Christian, you want to draw one over here? I don't know how far I can move.
I can do that.
And then now to be able to show you what I see. Now you're seeing the room, and by the way, these rooms are all configurable. They're quite a number of choices. Nick chose this one because he's cold up north and wanted to feel the warmth of Miami, I guess. So you see the room that we have set up, and in order for you to see my perspective, right? We had to do. Oh, wow, this is going to be interesting. We had to do. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move my. I'm going to reset my room. And in order to do that, I can just grab what happened? Whoa. Whoa. I did not want to do that. Return to whiteboard. Ah, got it. Okay. Reposition. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is it. Tricky one. Tricky. Okay. Or it's past my wall. So now I can draw very easily. Before I couldn't draw because I drew the board position past my glass door. And because it was glass, it was see-through, it allowed me to do that. So I had to go really hard on the glass in order to get any sensing. Now I can just easily draw, right? Okay, so we got three headsets. That's perfect. And if you see, in order for you to see what I'm seeing right now, I had to do what's called casting. I had to cast from the Oculus. I am casting to my machine. And then I had to connect to StreamYard, which is a service that we use to broadcast to you guys, meaning all the viewers. So I took my casting and I am sharing it in StreamYard. But we also at the desk, you see Christian is working on his computer. You see that little lid that is there, and Nick has a little shaded thing. That's literally his computer. Now I can't see it for privacy purposes. It wouldn't show it to me if I went behind Christian. But he's able to see a very clear monitor.
Yes.
And that is being done through the Meta application on their respective laptops. So here is the Meta application. That could have worked just as well off the phone, and the same for casting. But now through the Meta app, you're able to see in this physical room these things that are going on there. Carlos, and that is over here as well. So everybody's got a connection. Now, Nick, you're not casting, are you? You're not casting. You just have the Meta app connected, and so does Christian, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that should have said Ernesto, but I went too big on it. Apparently, that's the theme today. And then Christian's over here, right?
Yep.
We'll put a C, we'll put an E here, and I was able to fit Nick's holding there. And everybody is connected to the Meta app, but everybody's got their own instance. I don't want to give the impression that Meta the Meta app is necessary for everybody to collaborate. This is over here. This is just to be able to see your screen on your computer.
And
Think of this as a
I'm pretty
laptop.
sure even PC users like Carlos over here can share his screen even if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's a good point, Christian. Um,
So there's a lot of autonomy for these types of meetings, even if you don't have a headset. So you could still join, like Carlos here, where it still shows your webcam. I don't
yeah,
think the
Carlos
screen
could
can
share his screen right
see
now,
necessarily.
and we could see those, right?
Yes,
It's just that
I think
Carlos is
so.
only sharing his video. That's a good point. The other part that what are we missing here? Are we missing anything? That's the full setup. Is that right, Nick? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So then here is where everything is getting distributed, right? So here's LinkedIn and here's YouTube, right? And anything else. I love that. Thank you, Nick. Okay, now let's talk about let's talk about the experience. We're in the room. I'm going to sit down and it's asking me to redraw the desk. I don't know why. That's weird. Okay, I had to redraw my desk to get back on it, but now I'm here. So, how does this feel, guys? Let's talk to the experience itself or about the experience.
You're asking me or Nick?
Yeah, what's your experience, Christian?
I think it's a very similar one. I question why people are reluctant to kind of move to this because you definitely need someone who is able to host it. So, like you right now, but it's a little bit more, I guess, difficult for people to come on board when they already have services like Zoom and whatnot. So, kind of the extra hassle of what we're going through right now just really like isn't appealing until everyone actually has a headset in their hand or it's like more publicly used.
Yeah, so having like for example Carlos right now who is in a flat screen, it's definitely shortchanging him, right? Because I feel a lot closer to you. I literally feel like you're sitting next to me
Hmm.
and Nick, like we are at an offsite almost. We are, I feel like I traveled and met with you guys, even though, of course, you look cartoonish, you look 3D rendered, you don't look like the real person. I
Hmm.
feel that I am connecting with you in a social environment. But I don't feel that way with Carlos. Maybe because we're jaded by the flat screens at this point. I feel like I'm in a meeting with Carlos. I don't feel like I'm in a social setting with him.
Hmm.
Also, it's a little uncomfortable for me. So we're here for 30 minutes. We're scheduled this for 30 minutes, and we've got 5 more minutes. But I got to be honest, I'll be relieved to take my headphones off when it's over because I get to breathe better. It won't be heavy on my eyes. To use one of these for hours, I don't know how that would work. I know it won't work. It wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, and I think it's that barrier to entry that we were talking about before, like to even to have the opportunity to put on these headsets, you need to. I mean, now Quest 2 are becoming a lot more accessible with the price. Now they're about 250 dollars, but now the Quest 3 just to get that extra level of comfort is $500 to kind of experience what we're experiencing. So to people who are more technologically inclined, I think it's definitely worth the transition and like you can definitely appreciate that aspect. But if you're used to kind of just like the standard like desk and laptop and you kind of use Zoom every once in a while, then maybe the future when you come out with the Quest 4, the Quest 5, when like as Nick said, it's just a pair of goggles on your face, it will be a lot more convenient and accessible to kind of like the standard consumer.
Yeah, and since you're wearing the three, Christian, Nick and I are both um, complaining, I suppose, is I'm looking for a better word, but we're not as comfortable wearing it for a long time. How is the three? Can you wear it for a long time? You've had the two
So
before, and now you have the three. How do they compare in comfort?
So with the base strap that the 3 comes with, it's pretty uncomfortable, and for long periods of time, it does kind of like weigh down on the front part of your face. So I had to get a kind of a supplemental strap that distributes it across the back of my head, so I can use it for longer periods of time. So that's kind of a drawback that comes like with this. I mean, there's other headsets I know that they have like kind of what Nick is describing, like goggles, like, and it goes around like the Apple Vision Pro is similar to that. It's a little bit bigger, but you can kind of see that once you try to reduce the size, the price goes up like significantly to have access to this. And this is also Workrooms is only accessible to like Oculus users and not other services.
That's a great point. I don't know what's included it with the Apple Vision Pro. Is Big Room one of
No,
the? It's
very
not.
the Apple Vision Pro is very closed off in terms of like what you can do with it right now, and I think it's going to stay that way. So, in terms of like what third-party headsets are going to be available, Oculus kind of stands in between like a third-party headset and like an Apple Vision Pro in terms of what you could do with it. Hmm.
And
Exactly.
that's a good point. So one of the things that I think is evident, we went through this to set up. We got the setup up there. We're having an experiment. It's a great novelty. I feel closer. I feel like we spend time, but I don't know about it being a collaboration, productive collaboration environment because if we're using Jira or maybe something as simple as Trello, we still need to go to that application, and that's not in this environment. I will need to share my screen, so it would feel awkward trying to use that 2D application in a 3D environment. So until there are native applications that could truly use this, being able to move stickies around or being able to visualize a 3D environment to collaborate using the tools that we use, I think that that's going to be a challenge. That's the next leap. What is the
I
application?
think I'm gonna kind of push back on that. I agree with a lot of your points, but when it comes down to it, like how we're talking right now, like even like your hand movements and like I could kind of see you talking, your head movements, like this is definitely considering you're in Florida, I'm in New York, and Nick is in near Philadelphia. Like this is the most immersed I think possibly I could be with someone like to that point. So when it comes to like really getting points across, like your hand motions are kind of like um what you're trying to describe, it says a lot more than like a Zoom call or a FaceTime call. At the end of the day, a Zoom call, you are just sharing your screen. But I think, like I said, it's kind of like there's glitches here and whatnot. Zoom is intuitive, and that's kind of what people can appreciate about it. But with like Nick said, like I think people you have two class of headset users, and that's people who use it to play video games who are reluctant to use Facebook products, and then you have people who just entered the market and don't know how to use these products.
And that's a great point. Also, that comes to mind. We're not confined to this room, right? The three of
Hmm.
us could go hang out somewhere else right now.
Hmm.
There are plenty of apps that would allow us to meet. It is a social platform device. So spending that time together could be meeting here where we're having a discussion and we're having some brainstorming. But it could also be about maybe getting in a poker room and having a little fun. So it could be outing for the team to just simply socialize and
Exactly. Yeah, they exist. That was the first app that was created.
Carlos, we see your eyes, they're getting lower and lower on the screen, and that's okay. But I want to get your perspective in terms of, okay, so you've been sitting watching us interact in this 3D world. You're in 2D. How does it change your perspective? How is it working or not working for you being a part of this meeting?
And that's I think that's a good way of putting it. Just after 2 hours of being here, you see more diminishing returns than just doing it in like how normal people do it.
Yeah, the ease of use has to be there, right? And there's definitely a learning curve. There is a implementation. There is an investment to make this possible for everybody. We went through that, right? And just setting up this little session, there was quite a bit of troubleshooting we had to do. There was the setup, and then there were the actual devices. So, is it worth it for us to meet and have the happy hour that Nick loves? Maybe, right? Because if we were never able to meet, how would we build this social capital that we build doing this? So that's up to viewers to decide, but those are the pros and cons. So I agree.
And just off of that, like when we're speaking largely to the productivity side of having a headset. And that's not kind of, you don't buy a $250 headset just so you can use workrooms and join a meeting. Like it has significant functionality outside of productivity. And I think that's productivity is very nuance in terms of what you need and where you need it. But if you're trying to watch a movie, you just need a chair and a big screen really at the end of the day. And that those are like the kind of applications that are accessible with like the headset that you have.
And I, go ahead.
As it's dopamine to the max. This is as good as it gets.
And Christian, I know that you've tried also to use it as a screen for your computer where you're able to set up multiple screens. How did that work out for you? I'm going to get up to
So
improve the view of these guys so that everybody can see the whole room. Go ahead, please. Don't let me stop you.
to the standard I have a very like beefy computer in terms of like how much it could process, but I've tried it on like a laptop, just like kind of like a standard laptop, and I could see how it would um kind of run it, like either kill the battery instantly or just adding screen like virtual screens that aren't there kind of slow down your laptop and like the programs you open, and it just adds like a lot of workload to it. So it makes it a little bit more difficult, but it is very nice if you have like a very nice laptop. Like you can just be out at like a cafe, minus how you would look putting on your Oculus, but you could be out at a cafe and have 4 or 5 screens around for your single laptop, and essentially have like this very comfortable productivity environment that you would have at home, but just out and about really. Well,
I got to tell you, I was at a restaurant slash bar the other day, and the guy walked in with his friend. This guy was not alone. He walked in with his buddy, and he was wearing the Vision Pro as he walked into the place. And he sat at the bar and he was there doing all the hand gestures with the Vision Pro on at the bar while his friend was sitting next to it. It looked very socially awkward. I could tell he was having a great time, and of course, it was a new thing, a new product for him. So it's probably something that he didn't want to let go of. But in public, I think we got to get used to it, right? We did get used to the AirPods with everybody having little AirPods hanging out of their ears. Carlos is wearing one right now, and it's not weird anymore. So maybe we'll get used to it over time, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I think we're a little bit over time, but totally worth it. We were going to do another exercise where we were going to put stickies up on the board, but I think everyone got the gist of it here. And that exercise was going to allow us to make that point that collaborating, brainstorming with little stickies like this is possible. But if you needed something more than that, you were going to have to do it in a different application, and that's something that is in here. Um, One of the things that we use this environment for, you can see to the right over here, we got the Scrum rolls. These are the posters, the training posters that we use for our classes. And we also have our entire set of items that we go through quality check before we deliver a class. We have a class coming up next week, and we were
Also, you could
going
put
to
up
walk through that.
you could put up the stuff there.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you, Christian. So you moved one of the assets in here, and now we're able to work off of this and point them to whatever we want. So we could preload stuff and then make particular, we could make them bigger. This actually feels neat because I've never gone this close to the posters before. This is kind of neat.
I think you can make
Um,
annotations to them with the marker as well.
yeah, yeah. I can come here and say, this is important right here. That's really cool. Very cool. So you can see how this could be used in a classroom setting as well for interacting with the assets that you're going to be presenting. Um, okay, so with that, Nick, you wanna take us home? Did we lose Nick?
He said his room is glitch. Yes,
Yeah, he's in black and white. It
you
looks
you
just
jinxed
like one of
him.
the characters from Upload, which is pretty interesting, the TV show. So I am going to return to desk. Okay, so it looks like Nick froze for a bit. He'll come back to us. In the mean, oh, Nick just disappeared, and he'll probably be rejoining. And there he is,
There he is.
beaming in. I love the effect of how they come in the room, how we all come in. It's literally like a Star Trek beaming. All right, you are back, Nick. Oh, you're good.
Mhm. Mhm.
Actually, I'll pass it over to Christian, who was more than gracious to attend on a quick invite. Christian, can we do the fist bump thing? I love how he did that thing. Let's
Uh,
see.
there you go.
Oh,
It makes a
that's
noise and everything.
amazing. I love that thing. Thank you for attending, Christian. Hopefully, this was worth
That was
your.
educational to me as well, and how far this really can go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel like I spent time with you. I want to give you a virtual hug, but I literally don't know if that's possible.
We
Yeah,
might
no,
blow up if it causes
right, because the
sparks.
fist did it. So thank you, everyone. We will continue with our live streaming sessions. Look us up next week for our next hot topic. And Carlos, thank you for being our producer and being our flat screen model. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon again next week. Bye bye.
Bye.